Unboxing Webster Book of Treasures. I received this package today and I am opening it now. William Downing Webster, born in 1868, was a British ethnographical dealer and a collector. In 1895, he began to issue illustrated ethnographic catalogues, 17 with illustrations and 14 with photographs. Okay, let's open this. Okay, it seems it was first not delivered, that's why it took such a long time. And finally they discovered that I had a shop in Antwerp and that my address really existed. So let's open it. Okay, oh, here is this book. It looks marvelous. The illustrated catalogue of ethnographical specimen photographic references. Okay. Okay. The 14 catalogues with photographs had been all colored, corrected, cleaned and built in this publication. This edition includes indexes for objects, types and regions that can be cross-referenced to find specific items. It makes it an invaluable resource for academic, researchers and collectors. It's my friend Julien Leen from Netherlands who did it in 2016. So here you have the index. Okay. Webster was born in 1868 in Greenwich to Robert and Sarah Webster. Although his father was in the potato trade, Webster was initially employed as a stained glass designer in Lancaster before becoming a dealer in ethnographic antiquities. And in the 1890s. In 1891, he married Agnes Harrison in Kendal. He published a series of catalogues detailing his collections during the next 2 decades and staged a number of exhibitions of ethnographical material at Earl's court. In 1899, he traveled throughout Britain, purchasing all material from British soldiers returning from the Benin Expedition, amassing a large quantity of material that was carefully recorded in all his catalogues. In 1904, his marriage broke up, and he separated from his wife and his 2 daughters, and he lived with the housekeeper, Eva Cutter. His collection was then sold in a London-based auction that took place over 5 days. He died from alcoholism in Effingham in 1913, and is reportedly buried at Kensal Green Cemetery. Julien Leen is a Dutch collector who is less specialized of Webster than particularly preoccupied with trustworthy reference material. Of course, everybody knows the old man catalogue and his collections. It contains some excellent material, I think, that Kevin Conway recently wrote a very nice book about it. It was while reading the book Provenances, 12 Collectors of Ethnographical Art in England between 1760 and 1990 by Hemion Waterfield, that Julien discovered that Oldman wasn't the only one who published sales catalogues in the late 19th century and early 20th century. As they weren't available, he thought he might issue a small number of reprints for himself and maybe for a few friends. Because the catalogues were very old, they had become yellowed or even brown, and the plates were particularly degraded. The originals were scanned and improved using a host of computer software, and when the first proofs came back, the improvement was not as notable as he has hoped, as the densities of the backgrounds had served to disguise numerous stains and marks that were now painfully clear. Attempt to saw him editing everything single page in Photoshop to improve image quality and amend the backgrounds. Unfortunately, not every page could be saved, but the ones that were are wonderful. The text was cleaned by using Adobe Acrobat OCR. It almost drove him mad, editing 10 to 15 pages a day for weeks after week. But I think you will agree that the results are really remarkable. It's really sharp and you can read everything. Here is some Benin material. Attempts, okay. The text was cleaned. The OCR almost drive him mad. Having completed the pages, he created a universal page numbering system and a revised index by country as well as by object type. And then a few other means of dividing the collection occurred to him as he had to store all over again at time. I would say that all his labor was definitely worth it. As you can see, for example, ask, do we have a shield from the Solomon Island? And you'll answer that by looking at both the sites and the object type. It makes it very efficient, easy to use research for collectors and curators alike, and anyone useful in case you come across a Webster piece in an auction. As not everything in these catalogues is already in a museum, although most of the Benin pieces are. No further catalogues are planned, simply because Julien Leen doesn't have the complete editions of the originals. There are, in any case, drawing rather than photos, and in a different strategy might be required to reproduce them. Well, I think that's about it. Consider this as a little time machine. The book is available on Amazon. You will find the links below the video. But I have a better deal for you since I twisted Julien Leen's arm. If you buy it at Create Space with the link below, I have also a coupon code giving you 50% off. Use the code and keep it for yourself. And also understand the coupon is extremely limited in number and it can be withdrawn at any moment. So, this was the Webster Illustrated Catalogue of Ethnographical Specimens, 18 to 31, by D. Webster. I will turn over a little bit more of the pages, but it continues. You have some Japanese inrows, some massims, pedals, all kind of clubs. More Benin material. New Ireland. Tahiti.